Tara, hi.
How you
Hi.
doing?
I'm hanging in there. And
Good.
yourself?
Hanging too. Not
Yeah?
literally hanging, but that might come in a
Yeah.
few
I didn't
weeks.
notice any hanging looking at you.
So what are we talking about today? Where do you
You-
want to start?
I was thinking that it could
Yeah.
be interesting to talk about just the state of the world and
Entire world?
well, just the shit that we're going through. Like, what the fuck?
I'm joking. You know I
It's
am.
crazy. Oh yeah, there's what stuff?
Yeah,
What are
exactly.
you referring to,
It is
Wendy?
so nuts. It is so nuts.
It's surreal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my neighbors came home yesterday from a walk. I live in Hollywood, Beechwood Canyon. Came in and she said, I think I just saw Jeffrey Epstein. And I thought, I said, what are you saying? She said, this guy walking down the street, and he had this kind of weird smile on his face. She said, I'm sure it was him. She's a bit of a conspiracy theory person.
No.
Yeah.
He's actually not dead and he's out roaming the streets and in
Yeah.
Hollywood, apparently.
Well, if you're going to go anywhere, right?
Might as well.
Might as well come here.
Might as well. Yep.
The weather's nice, the people are eccentric. It's
Hmm.
good, you
Yeah,
know?
no, I did my time. I lived in
Yeah,
West Hollywood for
that's right. That's
back
right.
after the riots and during
That
the
was.
Northridge earthquake time. And
Oh, you were here for the big earthquake.
oh, yeah, I invented curse words that morning.
Wow.
Yeah, no, that was intense.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and the whole OJ thing that was going on.
Well, you
A
really
lot
were
of
here
it was a
for
very
it.
colorful period of time when I
Yeah.
lived in
Yeah.
LA.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
always a colorful period of time in LA.
Yeah, there's always
Places
something.
burning down, places flooding, people are rioting. It's very intense here all the time.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, yeah, let's talk about the world.
Let's talk about the world. Yeah,
Why don't you
so
start?
like trying to make sense of all of this stuff. And I mean, I have logged some hours just trying to understand what's happening because I think it's fair to say I started kind of noticing some things a long time ago. I'm trying to think, when did I really start noticing that things were shifting? It started with time. My experience of time started my perception of time was shifting. And that was probably in the early 2000s. And I started noticing that it was accelerating.
Yeah.
And most people say, well, that's because you're getting older. And I'm like, no, because
No, no.
even kids were noticing it. And that was
Yeah, for
pre
sure.
cell phones, everybody having a cell phone.
I thought what a marker point was after 9/11.
Yeah.
I feel that everything has been like in this big slide of shift since 9/11. Now, am I paying more attention than I did before? Maybe. I don't know.
No, but there's a degree of unraveling I would
Yeah.
describe
Yeah.
that started. But I think this unraveling process has been happening for a long time, in my opinion. It was in 2008. I went on a journey, a shamanic journey. I had read an article about some kind of anomalous cosmic event that was going to be happening. I think they described it as plasma that was going to be entering our region of the solar system. I was just curious about it. And I went into the dream time with the intention of trying to understand this better. And instead of going there, I ended up at the center of the Milky Way.
Mm.
And I ended up entering into the black hole, which
Whoa.
I don't recommend. The experience of it, even my consciousness felt like it was compressed, like
Huh.
I was being squeezed through a tube of toothpaste.
Huh.
And then when I got into the interior of this space, it felt like a place of both creation and destruction. And it was kind of roiling, and there's this sound in it. And once I focused, there were these dots of lights, different colored lights in the interior. And they reminded me of Aboriginal art, because they had sort of like,
Australian
yeah,
Aboriginal
art
dots.
comprised of dots, colorful dots, right?
Yeah.
But these were lights, colorful lights. And I perceived them as intelligent. and that they had information. And I wasn't really gleaning anything at that moment other than that they were pregnant with all of this information. And once I exited that space and went back into my life, the next couple of days I started having all of this understanding about stuff.
Nice, nice.
And I understood that we were entering a period of what I end up calling the chaos, where all the systems on the planet would be breaking down. The global systems, like the environmental system, the political systems, the economic systems, and then on down to the kind of national systems, the regional systems, community systems, down to the family systems, and then the individual. And that there was sort of this reason that all of these things were going to be happening. And I didn't quite understand what the reason was, other than the message of all the things that were hidden were going to be revealed.
Now, though, was there any sense of that?
Well, that came after.
Oh,
So we were going to be basically facing all of these things that had been hidden. We were going to have to come to terms with these things. Like you can run, but you can't hide. So for each one of us, we were going to be dealing with our own stuff that we hadn't dealt with.
and you said this was 2008.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then not long after that, I started putting pieces together. And do you remember the whole Mayan calendar
Oh, yeah, sure.
scare? Like the end of the world is coming,
Yeah.
and they were talking about December 21st, 2012 as being the end date of the long count calendar in the Mayan calendar system. And I guess that date is questionable. I'm not a Mayan scholar, but that date is questionable. And I think a lot of people had this idea that they would wake up on the 22nd of December of that year and everything would be better. And I'm like, no, I don't think it works that way. I think
No, not quite.
we kind of have to put our work in. So that kind of prophecy was in the zeitgeist at the time. So this idea of world ages, and then this concept of like something about the precession of the equinoxes, where our solar system was going to be finishing a huge cycle. Obviously, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about with this stuff, but I just remember reading about it. And that was another little piece. Again, all of these little things were kind of pointing at things were changing. And then other indigenous prophecies were starting to be revealed at that time
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
about, again, world ages. A world age was ending and a new one was beginning. So it wasn't the end of the world, it was the end of a world age and the beginning of a new one. And then my understanding is that the world age that is ending is dominated by the masculine, and the one that's beginning is supposed to be a balance between the masculine and the feminine.
Right, right.
If that's accurate, then that's what we're in the midst of right now, is all of these systems breaking down because they have to in order to prepare for this new way of existing in the world.
It would strike me that the masculine is not going down without a struggle.
I call it the death rattle.
It's the death rattle. It
Yeah,
is.
there's this illusion, this grasp with
Yeah.
white knuckles. Let's hold on.
Yeah.
We got this.
We got this, and not they don't even realize that they're not even making any sense anymore in their death rattle. Yeah. Anyway, didn't mean to interrupt.
No. This is a conversation. I don't mean to sit here and lecture, but these are the.
Well, no, but it's interesting to hear your perspective. I mean,
Yeah.
we all have our own perspective.
Yeah, exactly. So this is how I've been making sense of all of this stuff. All of this it sounds like we're right on schedule if that's true, whatever it is that's going on.
Yeah.
And there's certainly a lot of noise now in the bigger world, especially the internet world. Lots of different ways of trying to make sense of what's going on right now. Different channelers, different systems looking at this, trying to just make sense of what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's so many theories and feelings and all of it. I find it interesting. And of course, I've chosen to follow certain threads to some kind of a logical conclusion, or not logical, I don't know, some kind of a conclusion. But in this week, I sort of came to the place where I realized that I no longer have the capacity to understand what is the truth. It feels incredibly overwhelming for me trying to, like the Jeffrey Epstein situation or the Donald Trump reality. It doesn't make any sense. I keep trying to find what the truth is of Donald Trump. He makes no sense, like zero sense. He's so ridiculously foolish. Therefore, like, logic seems to be a way for us to process what's going on in the world. And now it feels as though there's no truth. I mean, the lying that is just the daily, like, you didn't see this person get shot by ICE. That's not what happened. He was brandishing a gun. No, he wasn't. There's not even a semblance of trying to present a good lie. It's just like deny, manipulate, and I feel like I've said it before, but it's like 1984 on steroids, it's just unbelievable.
Surreal, right?
It's
I mean,
surreal.
getting back to the word I used a little while ago, it's surreal. It really is.
It is surreal.
Yeah.
And when you're living in a surreal unfolding, like, what are you supposed to do with that? It's not like my logical brain can say, "Oh yeah, I get it. I get what happened here." I mean, the magnitude of the corruption and the lies and the sexual deviancy, and it's just like, holy mackerel, Like, what is this?
Well, yeah, I mean, is it all of that hidden stuff that is coming to the surface, and then
Yeah,
and then
holy.
now that it's on the surface, there's a lot of, oh, nothing to see here.
Yeah, nothing to see here.
Oh, yeah. This reminds me of another shamanic experience I had back in like 2011-ish. I wanted to discover if there was such thing as a mental realm. Is there a place where our thoughts live? And it was really hard to find.
Mm,
It was more two-dimensional, so I had to see it from a certain angle. And once
mm.
I caught it, then it expanded and I could see it from a distance. But it was corrupted. And I asked, what am I,
Why? What happened?
what's happening here? And the word that came into my head was deception.
Yeah, Satan, deception, right?
Then the concept of a mind virus
Yeah,
came into
yeah,
my head. And that's what led me to write the book that I released last year in 2025,
yeah,
Raven's Daughter, which is about a mind virus of deception
yeah,
based on those shamanic experiences. Just the fact
yeah.
that you don't know what's true. And
Hmm.
in my book, it's infiltrated AI because humans program AI. And
Hmm.
so anyway, it's a problem, is my point.
It's a problem.
Yeah. So again, it's like, how did we get there? Why did deception become such a prominent thing in our lives?
Yeah,
I don't know how to answer that, but I have an answer that's in my book, but
yeah. I've for many years I've said that when people ask the question, if you had like superpowers, what would you do, and what effect would you have on things? And I've always said I would make it so that human beings couldn't lie.
ah,
Everything would change, I mean, like, the advertising world, the pharmaceutical world, the politics. Like imagine if people couldn't lie, what that would be, you know? And
Right.
like
We would all need lobotomies to be able to do that, to damage the frontal lobe so we don't have abstract thought.
yeah, yeah,
But more seriously, it seems like telepathy, you can't lie when you're
exactly.
telepathic. Nonverbal
Yeah,
autistic kids in the telepathy tapes,
yeah,
they
yeah,
are showing or demonstrating.
yeah. But we all have telepathic capabilities. We all do. And either that door's been shut tight and locked in your consciousness, or you've released it, you know? And part of what I think is a good result of working with in the shamanic ways is that you open those doors and you really do start to be sensitive in ways that allow you to feel information, feel histories, feel all kinds of stuff, you know, and it's more real. It's free of lies. You're right. When you're telepathic, you can't lie, you know, and I just think that would be a wonderful state, and we're so far away from it now. And
Do you have any theories as to why we're so far away from being able to do that? Like, what is it about the way we are currently that keeps
how
us
did we
from
end up this way?
having easy telepathic abilities?
Wow, damned if I know. You know, when you look at the history of Western civilization and evolution, I have so many thoughts that deal with things that are conspiracy theories. I don't shut those out and I always explore, like, that's an interesting, you know, the fact that the economy is based on what certain families did to create this world of the economy that we live in, and how devious that has been. And you know how devious is the creation of America. It was founded on genocide of the Native American people, slavery,
Oh,
that
colonialism. Yeah.
colonialism. Yeah, exactly. Like, and we think, oh yay, America, you know. Well, I don't know. It's got some pretty shitty stuff that was built into the fiber of this place. You know, the way women were treated, the way, I don't know. And I guess when I look at the history, when I look at some of these things that are written about how we ended up here, I think it's so much bigger than my little human brain can really understand. I think it's just vast, and it's not this thing or that thing. But wow, how do we get out of this? I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I think I want to go back to the conspiracy theory thing that you were just talking about. To me, that's a sign of how lost we are and the level of deception. I think conspiracy theories, my thought anyway, is that they are born out of a lack of trust in these bigger systems like the
Yeah,
government. So there can be like a kernel of truth in a conspiracy theory, but then it can go off the rails.
yeah. But how do you know what's the truth even in the conspiracy theory, and what's the
Well, I mean, some of them are really
yeah, yeah, for sure.
like,
Some of
yeah,
them
I
are
mean,
like
I've heard some,
yeah,
yeah, from family members even.
yeah, for sure.
No, I'm not familiar with that one, but
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I guess the point is that because we don't trust, it creates this seed of doubt in in
Everything.
in everything. And so our desire to want to understand and to know what's really happening, I think, gives birth to these.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
it. Like, how do you, you know,
How do you know what's true?
Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning, you know,
Hmm.
we're always looking for meaning. And
But that's a different kind of meaning. I think he was talking about.
Yes, but you can put, yes, of course, he was talking about within the confines of concentration camp.
Like
And
a personal meaning in your life, what gives you the reason to live.
yes,
But
but
then meaning making of your
we're
life, right?
always,
Is yeah.
yeah, we give the narrative of what my life means and what this society means. And I'm finding that a really tricky area these days. Like,
Hell yeah, it's tricky for all of us.
yeah,
Absolutely. I mean, we Westerners, we just want to understand.
yeah,
We want to ask the question why and then ask it again and then ask it again.
yeah. And that's what I find happening. It's just like daily, I'm puzzled, and
Yeah.
I think I understand something, and then something else happens. And so, when we talked about, like, when we decided to talk about this, I had a feeling of dis-ease in myself because I wish I had more solid ground, to say, well, I think this is going on or that's going on. And
Hmm.
is there a mind disease? I mean, then the Native Americans have talked about that for a long time.
With Tico,
Yeah, Wetiko, exactly.
I think,
Look,
yeah, it's a version of deception, but that's more of an external source, is my understanding, that is invading. To me, I think that the deception that I perceived was generated by humans
I
because
was
of our cultural worldview in the
yeah,
West. Yeah.
I was just listening to a podcast recently about, again, I don't know if I talked about this before or not, but he's a minister with one of the big churches in Pasadena here in California, and he wrote a book which I have not read, but his feeling is that Satan is an internal thing, not an external thing. He said that the root word of Satan is connected to deception.
Yeah, he's the deceiver,
He's the
Satan.
deceiver.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the archetype of deception.
exactly. And when he said that, I was very attracted to that thought. I thought, oh, that's really interesting. And so, deception, so as we're unfolding in this discussion, maybe that is part of the answer, that we are living in this time of deception as it bubbles away, and
Yeah, and is deception a symptom of a failure on our part or something we're missing or a disconnection or a disharmony that we have so lost touch with what is real?
yeah, yeah. What is real?
That's a great
Nature.
fucking question.
Nature is real. That to me, that's the only thing that's real, is the natural world.
Yeah, and that might be the big clue about deception.
What do
And well, I mean, my thought, or at least what I was shown, what was described to me, is that there was a time in our history where humans decided we were separate from nature.
Yeah. Well, isn't that what
And
the Bible said?
that's,
Like,
yeah,
sorry, what?
and then that creates this divide that if we're somehow different, we're separate from nature, that we're maybe even better or more advanced than everything else in the natural world, and we can dominate the natural world, and that whole colonial mind concept,
Yeah.
that we have forgotten that our essence is that we are nature.
Yeah.
We are part of the fabric of the natural world. We
Right.
are, but we're not seeing ourselves as that.
Right.
And so to me, that's the original lie that
Yeah.
started the
Yeah.
virus of
Yeah.
deception
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
that I wrote about in my
I
book.
100% agree. Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, well, It appears to be true.
Each one of us has to come to our own conclusions about these things. But getting back to what you were saying before, when we open these shamanic doors or whatever our internal practice is to perceive in non-physical reality, can deception interfere with that?
Mm.
I think deception can interfere with that if your belief systems are interfering with what you're perceiving. You're misinterpreting what you're perceiving.
Right.
But then again, that's an internal process.
Yeah.
So what you perceive is what you perceive. And then when we latch on and try to create meaning or understanding of it, that's when it gets a little tricky and we can be completely full of shit about how, and or like you're making something up. Like you're generating something because you want it to be a certain way, that you're perceiving something
Yeah,
because you
totally.
have a desire for a certain outcome. So
Yeah.
that's another way we just see. But if you are seated in the right place in your psyche, that neutral place, and you're perceiving that, and then you're able to discern that knowing, like that knowing is just like you're so clear, all that mental and emotional noise is to the side, and you're just perceiving. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Then with that can come the knowing. And that's, to me, like there's a purity to it.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this, was it last time or 2 times ago, about intuition?
Yeah.
Your brain will want to latch on right after that and start
Yeah,
interpreting and that
exactly.
kind of thing.
Exactly.
But the truth, there, I guess my point is that you can access a truth of sorts if you can clear your internal noise, get that out of the way.
Mm.
And then if you can, I guess, maintain that pristine nature of it without your brain kicking in and needing to fuck with it.
Yeah, I agree completely. And I think that's why I said at the very beginning here that I have concluded that I have no capacity to recognize what is the truth and what is the deception. Like, I can't anymore. I can't find it. I can
Mm.
find it in myself and I can find it in nature, but I can't find it in the constructs that are presented daily to us.
Well, is that perfect, though?
Well, it is kind of perfect. And part of my question at this time is, do I want to just go completely back to nature and be with nature and maybe write and paint again and just, have a dog sanctuary and like just get really fundamentally pure in where I am, because like I just don't have the capacity to figure it out. It's so fucking noisy. It's just like constantly
As the
being
cars honking in the background, yeah.
constantly honking in the background.
Yeah. No, I
And
remember that. I mean, you live in a city, so yeah, absolutely.
yeah, but
It's,
cars honking in the symbolic
yeah,
background.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's just
Yeah.
like nonstop.
But maybe what you're talking about is the medicine for all of us, is that,
But how do we
not,
do that? We've
well, what's important, maybe. You decide what's important to you
yeah.
and what's real to you. I mean, I think that's such an intimate question that each one of us has to figure out for ourselves, if we even are inclined to do that. But this idea of wanting to reconnect with the natural world because there's a comfort and hopefully a familiarity there too,
Mm.
and a sense of peace and vibrance. And the world is really fucking noisy right now in general. Just all of the thoughts and the emotions that people are experiencing right now is having, it's not just contained in each person's body. It's like floating out there in the ethers. And if you're a sensitive person, how could you not be kind of be impacted by all of that?
Totally, totally. We are, and there's this very strong discomfort that people, so many people taking antidepressants, anti-anxiety medications, and,
Yeah. We're all
trying,
lost. Yeah.
yeah, trying to find a way to be comfortable in an increasingly uncomfortable reality that,
And it's going to get more uncomfortable.
yeah,
That's the thing. And then what does each person have to do to stay
yeah,
as grounded as humanly possible
yeah,
as we're navigating through this chaos?
yeah, exactly.
Because it's,
And
I mean, it's not going to just like on a dime.
this morning there was something in the news about the agreements on nuclear arms coming to an end so that there's going to be more nuclear arms created by everybody.
Hooray.
And I thought, oh, fuck it, who cares?
Yeah. This
Like
is when we need the aliens to intervene.
I wish somebody would intervene. I mean, yeah, like, come on, dudes, like let's go. Things are
Yeah.
dire here. We are not good.
Yeah. Yeah. All of this shit is bubbling up right now. All of it. And it really is incredibly surreal.
The Epstein thing, it's nonstop,
Yeah.
It's
It's
like
ugly.
one and that one and this guy and that guy
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Deepak Chopra, oh, bad, bad, bad.
I
This
know
guy is
he endorsed my
finished.
kids' book, and I'm like, oh fuck, should I take that up? And that was from 2003. Oh
You just got
yeah, I know, man.
cut out
Well,
Jim
but yeah,
Chopra.
yeah. It's insanity. It's insanity, and I I obviously I don't know. I'm at a loss, but we're where we're supposed to be. I guess what I was gonna say is that our species, Sarah, in my opinion, is not very evolved. I think we are emotionally and spiritually very young as a species because our species hasn't been around that long.
And I don't think it's going to be around much longer,
Yeah, we that is a possibility, isn't it? That is definitely a possibility.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Well, I mean, holy shit, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Fasten your seatbelts.
Fasten your seatbelts. Yeah. I just want to live on a lake with vegetables and bunch of dogs, and
That sounds dreamy.
it does. I don't know how I make that happen, but
Well, you're a
it
good manifester, so
I am a
I
good
have no
manifest.
doubt you will create that. And then if
Yeah,
you could
but
throw me in there in the mix too,
come,
I'll be your neighbor.
yeah. Well, that's what I'm thinking. I am thinking I don't want to be like living in the forest by myself exactly.
Yeah.
I want a community of
Hmm.
like-minded people that are in the vicinity, where we could have meals together and, like all
Yeah.
the stuff,
Hmm.
like the old-fashioned
Yeah,
hippie.
I'm a little hesitant about community living only because groups of people don't always do well together, but
They do terribly together.
and then there's a lot of fucking work to kind of work through all the things. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I don't know.
Hmm.
That's
Well,
that's my
but
thinking.
no, I did dream of that. It sounds incredible.
Whether it happens or not remains to be
Yeah.
seen. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to be, an elder living by myself in the forest. That doesn't appeal to me either. But,
Yeah. And then people will
having,
write scary stories about you.
yeah, exactly.
The witch out in the
The witch.
forest.
Exactly. The crone. Yeah, maybe that's
Mm-hmm.
what's happening. But the other thing I think about when I think of returning to the land or moving to this place or that place, there's something about returning to a more innocent time. And I think, am I fooling myself into thinking that this will be a solution, that I'll
Mm.
find a peaceful, and I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't think we can go backwards. I
No, I
think
don't think we can either.
like romanticizing how Native Americans lived
Right,
or any indigenous people pre-colonialism.
right.
No, I think it's like finding new ways. And I think that will emerge once the dust starts settling. I think there are like little signs we'll see here and there of
Let's hope.
of possibility.
Yeah, let's hope.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a good thing to hope for. I'd rather focus on that than focus on all the bullshit because the bullshit just I mean, it's just anxiety provoking and that's one thing we have agency over is where we point our focus. So, do you want to drop your anchor in the negative polarity or do you want to pull it up and put it in the positive polarity?
Yeah, and your focus and your daily intentions of what am I going to be doing today? Like it's a small, number of hours, and how am I going to be feeling okay and making a positive in
I
this
love that. Yeah, like shrinking it down to just
yeah.
like
Yeah.
the moment or the day
Yeah.
because we do have a tendency to
Yeah.
kind of project into the
Yeah.
future a little too
Yeah.
much and it's we're always in gray zone but it's like super obvious that we're in gray
Yeah.
right now. We don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's all up in the air
Yeah.
and that's unsettling. I'm in agreement, I think, keeping my focus on what's right in front of me.
Yeah.
You are.
Exactly. Aren't we lucky?
Yeah, well, that's a great conclusion to come to, huh, in our conversation.
Yeah. Like again, when you suggested that we talk about the
The
kind of
state of the
world,
world.
state of the world, I really did feel a sense of dread in me because I have so few answers, and I feel like the people who have voice are people who are putting it out that they have answers to all of this. And
Right. Yeah. I don't, yeah. I don't, I hope I didn't come across like I had answers. It was just maybe ideas that a world age is ending and another one is starting and that it's messy and I don't know what it's going to look like and how bad it has to get in order to completely collapse the old.
when do you think the world age was positive? Like in your mind, do you have a thought of where?
I have no idea. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. I think that this planet has probably been notoriously challenging to incarnate on.
I think so.
But there probably were time frames where it was
Better
easier
time. Yeah.
than this one. This one is a darker feeling one. I mean, just look at our history in the
Yeah.
last couple of thousand years.
Yeah.
Not so great.
Not so great. And I mean, sometimes things were great for this group of people
Hmm.
because they were screwing up that group of people and it was
Yeah.
making their life great, but the other people's lives were not great.
Mm.
And there's a lot of that you when you look at history.
Yeah, I know. Well, and yeah, prehistory, I have no idea. I haven't really investigated a lot of that. I think people like Graham Hancock are trying to look into ancient civilizations that seem to be advanced and looking at potential evidence that they existed and maybe knew some shit that we don't currently know now.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. But
Yeah.
other than that, we got what we got. So if this is a dream, which I do believe this physical reality is the dream, we're collectively dreaming this together, then we have an opportunity to create a new dream in this experience. And I'd like to contribute what I can to
A good
creating
dream.
a really pleasant dream, a sweet dream.
A sweet dream. Sweet dreams. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel fairly good about what I contribute to the dream. I think I do my best to
That's all
be
you can do, right?
that's all
That's all
you
we
can
can
do.
do.
Yeah.
With my little pea brain, I'm doing the
Yeah.
best I can.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Not leaving a lot of lies and deception in my wake.
I'm trying. Yeah. Yep. We're all full of shit, really. But
Speak
some of
for
us are,
yourself.
but I think some of us are trying to be less full of shit. Yeah, that was my conclusion after that mental realm. Oh, I said, so we're all full of shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all are. We are. We could, I mean, self-deception, so big. And then how we deceive each other, huge.
Do you lie?
I try not to.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of my wiring makes it hard. I think the only times I probably have is to try to prevent someone from feeling bad.
Yeah, that's always the
Yeah,
breaking point
but
for a
that's
lot of people.
but is that even fair? I don't know.
Yeah, is that
I don't know.
helpful even?
That's a whole ethical thing
Yeah, yeah, that would be a whole
that we
other.
don't have time to talk about.
Yeah, I make a point of not lying, but that means sometimes I have to like really search for what it is I'm going to say so as not to hurt the other person. But
Absolutely, that's an
within the
art
not
form.
hurting, I find the truth that is not hurtful, you know?
That's good.
So
That
that's,
that sounds like a great contribution right there.
yeah,
Because people will feel that. They'll know it. Because you can feel
truth. Yeah,
you,
yeah,
when you experience it, yeah, you can feel
yeah.
it.
You can feel lies like, ugh, lies are like a tidal wave.
Unless you want to hear it or you're looking for confirmation bias, then you'll hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
buy it.
yeah. Dogs are truthful.
Yeah, I think all of the rest of the animal kingdom is truthful. Yeah.
Yeah. Ah, time. That went
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah, it did. This was fun and
Is that a question
disturbing.
mark? It feels fun and disturbing. That's life, right?
Well, I think it's good to talk about the hard stuff, even if we don't have answers.
Yeah. All right.
Maybe other people
Well,
will feel less alone.
yeah. Yeah, they'll be like, look at these two. They don't know anything. I guess
Yeah,
it's okay.
it's true. Maybe we should change the name of the podcast to We Know Nothing.
Well, we just said we were curious. We didn't say we knew anything, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Thank God we didn't say we knew anything. That
We
would,
do live in the age of the expert.
yeah, we do.
Yeah, and this is the anti-expert podcast.
That's what we should have called it.
Yeah,
My
really. Maybe that's
expert
our
podcast.
tagline.
All right.
All right.
Goodbye.
Mwah, right back at you. I will see you next time.